What form of honor-based abuse is found in the Black community here in the UK?
Okay, in my work experience, the ones I've noted are forced marriages. I've also noted female genital mutilations, and embedded in all of this, you have emotional abuse, you have physical control, you have coercive control, and many other traumas embedded in all of this, But those are the two major ones,
Hi and welcome to Faith Club Podcast. My name is Mary Alison Momoh. Today's episode is a special one. Not only are we supporting the UK government to raise awareness of honor-based abuse, but we're marking the start of UN's 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. This global campaign brings people together to raise awareness and take action to end violence against women and girls. As people of faith, we believe that God calls us to protect and care for each other, especially the vulnerable. Today we'll be discussing honor-based abuse, a form of violence that many women face, yet it often goes unspoken. Our hope is that this conversation shines a light on this issue and encourages our community to support those affected. Here to discuss with me more on the subject is Liz Kingsley, the director of Safe Arms, a non-profit organization that deals with people that have been affected by domestic abuse and violence. Liz, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks for having me.
Liz, wow, honor-based abuse. Could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you started Safe Arms?
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Liz Kingsley, as you said, and I'm the CEO of Safe Arms. This was started because in a previous role I had before now, I was covering for housing,
Yes.
and there was this 9-year-old girl who was actually raped by a 14-year-old boy. And in their community, he was like blamed for the incident.
Okay.
And so I was really perturbed by the fact that she was not even supported by her family, not even her community.
Yes.
And so covering her housing, I had to become part of a safeguarding team.
Yes.
And so going on from there, this, became a vision for me to help women and girls. And of course, this is also part of what UK is all about. The UK government,
Yes.
they're really trying hard even to do this. So for me, it's just like partnering with them or just joining them in the global efforts to eliminate violence against women and girls.
Yes.
Yeah, so with Safe Arms, we have 3 main objectives. Number 1, we provide support for victims of domestic abuse. We also train community leaders and professionals on the issues of domestic violence or domestic abuse. And then we create awareness of domestic abuse, just like what I'm doing right now. Yes, so we create awareness. So that's what we do in Safe Arms. Yeah.
That's amazing. Can you tell us about this campaign and why it's important to you?
This campaign is all about the government's strategy in 2021 to eliminate violence against women and girls. So, and this particular one, it aims to educate and engage the communities that are at risk.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is one. Number 2, it helps to improve the support given to victims and also to create awareness, to create awareness of this and to train people, at least to create that awareness and let them understand what this is all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So for that person that doesn't know what we're talking about, what is honor-based abuse?
Okay, thank you very much. Honor-based abuse is a form of abuse where you have incidents of intimidation, coercive control, threats, abuse generally, and all of them are embedded in culture, and honor is the excuse for this.
Okay.
That is honor-based abuse. Yeah.
Wow.
And so it's embedded in cultural, in the culture of different communities.
Yes.
Yeah.
What form of honor-based abuse is found in the Black community here in the UK?
Okay, in my work experience, the ones I've noted are forced marriages. I've also noted female genital mutilations, and embedded in all of this, you have emotional abuse, you have physical control, you have coercive control, yeah, and many other traumas embedded in all of this, yeah. But those are the two major ones, yeah.
Forced marriages in
Forced
the
marriages,
UK Black
yeah.
community.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm hearing for the first time. However, obviously, in your experience, this is something that you have experienced. How does the idea of honor come into play in the Black community, and what cultural factors lead to this?
Okay. Number one, I want us to understand that there is no honor in honor-based abuse. However, in the cultural practices, they feel honor is their own, is the excuse for this form of abuse. And in some communities, this is celebrated. So this is celebrated in some communities, and also the families involved, they kind of they're also celebrated somehow. So all of these are embedded in these cultural practices. Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the emotional and psychological impacts on victims of honor-based abuse?
Yeah, honor-based abuse. Maybe first of all, I should try to explain what they are, and then we can talk about the trauma in all of this. When we talk about forced marriage, we're talking about when one party or both parties, they don't give their full consent to the marriage.
Yes.
And then the culture or the community is forcing them to marry because it is their culture.
Yes.
And they feel it is a form of honor on the part of the family.
Yes.
So that is one. And then also we have anywhere where you find children are being forced to marry, or they are being asked to marry when they are less than 16 or 18. Yeah, that is a form of forced marriage, and this is illegal in the UK.
Yes.
And then we also have female genital mutilation, where in some African countries they call them female circumcision, but it's actually even more than female circumcision. They tend to make it female circumcision, but it's more because of the way it is being done.
Yes.
So you have both of these in the UK, and they are very, very illegal in the UK. So talking about the emotions that are involved, we're looking at the trauma that these victims would face going through all of this.
Yes.
We're looking at the psychological trauma that they have to experience, and so isolation, you see them being isolated.
Yes.
You see them withdrawing from the community. You see a form of fear in them.
Yeah.
You see a form of fear even for the community in which they live in.
Yes. Yes.
So they are trying to pull out, but they cannot pull out because they are afraid of the stigma involved.
Yes.
And all of that. So you see fear, you see withdrawal from them, you see them being quiet, you see them being traumatized, you even see injuries.
Yes.
Yeah, you even see injuries on
So
them.
what you're describing there are the warning signs that we should look out.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So warning signs we should look out for are the ones I've mentioned them, and this is withdrawal.
Yeah.
When you see someone just withdrawing, the person may not be able to even say exactly what is wrong because
of
he
the
feels
fear,
because of the fear, and at the same time she does not want to disgrace the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you see them being withdrawn. You see them trying to play safe. Sometimes you see those injuries on them.
Yes, yeah.
Probably they have said no, and they have kind of injured them, and they're afraid of allowing people to know.
Absolutely.
So these are things that you notice, on them.
So what legal protections are there in the UK for victims of honor-based abuse? Are there specific laws covering things like FGM and forced marriages?
Yeah, number one, both of these are illegal in the country.
Yes.
So the fact that they are even illegal is enough law for anyone. So that is one. Number two, they can also report this anonymously.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there are laws, protection orders that are protecting them. So when anyone is experiencing this or is about to experience this, the person should know that there are laws that are guiding all of this, that are supporting them, so they are not alone. The government, the UK government, is actually doing lots in making sure that people are safe in this country, in the UK.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel people need to know, the awareness needs to be there. These laws are there, but honestly, they are being underused because people are not aware of these laws.
Yes.
So because they are not aware, and also there's a kind of distrust to the authority. So because of this, and I think it's a misplaced distrust because they are not very vast, or they don't have enough knowledge of what the UK government is doing for them.
Yes.
Yeah, but I feel that if they understand what role the government is playing on their behalf, I think they should speak up, or just run to a local authority that can help them.
I live in an area where there's a lot of BAME. There are many of us, the Black and Asian minority ethnicities, but I have not seen any of these campaigns. In fact, the only campaign that I have seen is when we go for antenatal care, and they're in the health visitors room, or the midwife room, there are posters on domestic violence, but not
Order-based.
honor-based. I have
Yeah.
not seen it. So
Yeah.
I think maybe we need more of those campaigns in areas, especially that are populated by the BAME.
Yeah. And I think at this time where there are lots of interracial marriages,
Yes.
people may not be aware of what they're going into when they're getting married, when that interracial marriage is there, and they do not understand, and probably they have not even asked because they do not even believe it exists. And then they will come into these communities only to find out that they need, or their children need to go through this.
Yes.
FGM, for example, is being practiced on children when they're about 0 to 3 months. So a lady could just get married to not discover that her child
Has to go
through this.
Yeah.
So the awareness is actually important at this time. People need to be educated, not even only people. I think the police also need to be educated, GP need to be educated.
Yes.
Everybody in the community need to understand this, and to also know that there is help available
Yes.
for them, that they are not alone, they can be helped. Yeah.
Absolutely. What role can Black communities and leaders in Black communities, like elders and religious figures, play, in stopping honor-based abuse?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Leaders in the religious sector, they have lots of influence on the members on the community, on the Black community.
Yes.
So I think if they can challenge these practices, because whatever they say, they are being believed by the Black community.
Yes.
So I think they are in a very good position and a very influential position to challenge these practices.
So they also need to be educated on
They
it,
also
and
need
to know that it's happening in their community.
Definitely. They need to be educated. They need to also understand that this goes on, and then to also know that they do not need to keep quiet
About
because
it.
they can hear it, or they can know about it, and they're just silent about it. If they are silent about it, what that means is that it enables the abuse.
Yes.
So I think everybody needs to talk about it. It's something that needs to keep on going in the country. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are there stories that you've experienced of people that have experienced this honor-based abuse, and how have they been helped?
Yeah, there are different stories. To be honest with you, everyone has their story, and the stories are different from one person to the other. So what we do is we have the kind of support we give to each of them is individualized.
Yes.
It's all about each person and what they have experienced.
Mm.
In the past, what we used to do as an agency was more of wellness therapy. Yeah, we were engaged more in wellness therapy, and we did this along with Oxley's NHS, which is more on people with mental illness, because this also creates a form of mental. This is one of the things that they yeah. So, but from there, we also moved on to creating safe spaces. So we have spaces for people who want to kind of probably run away, or they want to rebuild their lives, Yeah, so we moved on from there to creating safe spaces for them. Yeah.
That's beautiful. What the work that you're doing in the community, and the extent of your work with Safe Arms. How far have you gone into the community? Do you do community outreaches, or are you working alongside healthcare institutions? How do you work in the how does your work how is it actually, how do people know about your work, and how do you do it? Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Couple of years ago, we were doing a lot of awareness creation. We were moving from one borough to the other in the UK, creating awareness of domestic abuse, moving around, working alongside the Crown Prosecution Services, working alongside the NHS, working alongside even the faith communities.
Yes.
So we were creating awareness of, domestic abuse, all of these forms of abuse all over the country. And then we also moved on from there to creating or to providing support to victims of domestic abuse.
Yes.
So we work along different people. We work along different care professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't work alone. So we work with the communities, we work with faith communities, we work with NHS, we work with the media, just like
Can I ask you though,
yeah.
women knowing the dangers of practices like FGM and even forced marriages, especially marrying of girls in their youth, in their young, young tender age, why do you think they keep perpetuating these cultural practices even in 2024? Why?
Yeah.
Why would they carry on perpetuating such practices?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, they feel there is honor there.
Mm.
They feel there is honor in those practices, and they feel families should be celebrated when they pass through this. You
Okay.
understand? So they feel which means the family becomes more honorable in the culture. So yeah, I think that is why it keeps on going, and it's from culture. And one thing about the Black community, which we all must be aware of, is wherever they go, wherever the Black community, whichever part of the Black community, wherever they go in this world, everywhere, they go with two things. Trust me. We go with our faith.
Yeah. And our culture.
And our culture.
Yeah.
So those two things, we don't leave them. We leave our country.
But I think it happens also with the Asians and other types.
Yeah. So for us in the Black community, we move around with our faith and we move around with our culture. So we may not speak loud about the culture.
Yeah.
We may even keep quiet about the faith. That does not mean the faith is not going on, and it does not mean the culture is not going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if someone suspects a family member is going through honor-based abuse of whatever type, what should they do?
Okay, thank you very much. Number one, they have to play safe themselves.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. They've got to play safe.
Yeah.
And they can report this anonymously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
report to the police.
They can report to the police. We at Safe Farms also can help them. They can, every borough, the government is so good by situating a domestic abuse hub in every borough, almost every borough in this country.
Yes.
And so they have that opportunity to go to any of them. However, if anyone is in immediate danger, just call 999.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Where can people go if they want to learn more about honor-based abuse and to support as well?
Yeah.
For instance, charities like Safe Arms.
Yeah. So they can go on our website. They can contact us on our website. So we're able to train them. We're able to create more awareness of this. We're able to tell them where to receive support if anyone is experiencing this, or someone knows someone who is experiencing this, or someone wants to train on this. Yes, we are available to do training for them. Yeah.
The details are all on the screen.
Yeah.
However, there's something that you said earlier that I want us to go back to, the interracial marriages that are happening right now.
Yeah.
London, obviously, is the hub of so many races, and in there, interracial marriages have happened and are going to be happening. How can people educate themselves, especially? What would you advise, like a young couple from different races that are going to get married? What should, especially the women, what should they be looking out for?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think during the period while they are dating, these are questions they should ask. They should make inquiry about the culture in which they are going into,
Yes.
especially if it's different from their culture,
Yes.
or there is lot of obvious difference between those two cultures.
Mhm.
So they need to understand the culture. They need to ask questions. They need to even research themselves
Mm.
and see what goes on in that part of the country where they
Yes.
are marrying into. It is actually expedient to do that.
Mm. And even ask certain questions. Don't just take it at face value.
Yeah.
Ask certain questions.
Yeah.
How are little girls raised? How are young boys raised? And all of that. And there's something also that you said there that, because something like female genital mutilation is like a passage of right for a young lady into, puberty. But now you're saying that they're doing it even at a younger age, 0 to 3. That is something new. How could you take us, for someone who wants to understand what female genital mutilation is, could you first of all describe what it is? And when you say that sometimes they even do excessive, what do you mean by that?
Okay. It's more about the private parts of women. That is where the court is. So some people think it's more like the men's one, and obviously it is not. And they feel they just remove a certain part, but obviously they cut more than that certain parts. They cut deeper than that.
So
And
by
this
certain part, can we be very clear? So with female circumcision is they cut the clitoris. So you cut a bit of the clitoris. But you say that they go beyond. Is that now affecting like the labias?
Yes, it can, because it can bring infection to these young ones, even to older people as well. It can bring infection. And if there is infection can lead to anything.
Yeah, sepsis and death.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
why do people carry out FGM? Especially, I can understand, but you see, with forced marriages, people have all sorts of ideas about it. But why do people carry out female genital mutilation?
they carry it out because of the culture as well, because they use that as an excuse. Those are the two things they use as an excuse. They feel there's honor there. They feel it's part of, like, it's normal, like it's been done from age to age, from year to year, and it's a culture that is being passed on from one generation to the other.
Okay.
Yes. So, and because of that, they kind of do a form of celebration in some communities.
Yes.
Because
It's
of
a rite of passage.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. But also some of these are perpetuated. We tend to look at the women who carried out, but this is also perpetuated by men, in the sense that a man would not marry a woman who has not gone through FGM.
Yeah. Yeah.
So could you address the men as well?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Especially because Black communities are very patrilineal. And if men say, you're not a woman until you've done FGM, you can't be married, I will not marry you, that puts a lot of pressure on women.
Yeah.
Would you address the men as well?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think for the men, for them to believe in such a thing, number one, they should understand that they're believing in a culture that is illegal, and they can also be prosecuted for that as well if they say anything of such in the UK. And the good thing about this is that even if they want to relocate such girl or such female out of the country to do that, it is still illegal. For anyone to take a female out of the UK to do that, it is still illegal. So anyone can be prosecuted for that. So number one, they should understand that the practice they believe in is illegal in the UK. So that is one. And if it is illegal, what that simply means is that no girl is expected to do this. So if they're asking for this, it means they're asking for something that is illegal. And if that is so, then that is something they shouldn't even think about. in the first instance.
Yes.
And if there's any culture who is passing this on to them, they should understand that this is a wrong culture and illegal culture.
Yes.
Yeah. And also they should understand that there are so many people who have not passed through FGM and they're living well,
Yes.
even bet, not even bet, they are living much more than people doing this.
Yes.
So, or people who have done it. So if there are people or women who have not passed through FGM and they're living good life,
Healthy life.
lives,
Happy
so
lives.
that means the FGM is nothing to talk about.
Yes.
Like it has no there's nothing really good in it, you know. So it's nothing they should look for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Liz, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about honor-based abuse and the campaign that the UK government is running. Could you tell us how someone can get in touch with Safe Arms?
Yeah, you could go on our website, www.safearms.org.uk. There you would find all the details that you need. We also have contact forms there. You can contact us through the contact form.
Yes.
We have referral forms if you have anyone passing through any form of domestic abuse. So we have our referral forms there. So you can contact us through the website. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been Liz Kingsley and Mary Alison Momoh. The details that you need are all on your screen. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye-bye. If you or anyone you know has been affected by honor-based abuse, please call the Safe Arms helpline on 078 77 586 338 for free and confidential support, or visit safearms.org.uk for more information. Engaging, inspiring, uplifting, captivating, thought-provoking, insightful conversations, stories, and faith-filled moments. It's Faith Flow Podcast, Christian conversations that get you thinking. Faith Flow Podcast by Faithful TV.